Welcome back to another message crawler update. I know it's been too long. I've been working on this thing like crazy. I had no time to give you any updates, vacations, family time, all that stuff. I'm back at it. I'm going to make a series of videos. We're going to talk about what's new in version 5. And what I want to start today with is new user interface. As the most exciting feature about message crawler is the new UI. So what I did is money that you guys spend on purchasing this application, I've taken some of it and I reinvested it back into the application to give you best experience possible. I've improved the installer. That was actually free. I've purchased this new UI component kit, which includes ribbons, new grid control, and I also spend money on the new Teams PST Access API. Will cover that later. So we have this new user interface now, looks more modern, and it works way faster. So let's load a dat file and go over some of the features. So first thing about this new grid, it is extremely fast and responsive. This is a small set of data, so it's going to be hard to tell, plus it's a video. But once you actually start using it, you see how smoothly it scrolls. It allows you to load way more data than the old grid, and it uses your graphics card for GPU acceleration to refresh everything on the screen. For those of you who like to look at your data, which is me, this thing is amazing. The scroll experience couldn't be better. Sorry about that. There are a few options here to resize your columns. It's different from the previous one just because it's a different grid. So we can resize to fit everything to width of the screen. So if you have a 4K, you can resize everything, or we can undo that and then we can do something else where we can resize data to fit the actual cells. So resize cells to fit the actual data. That's right. Losing it here. So you will have to scroll over and you'll be able to see all the data that's loaded. Again, it's helpful. Sometimes it might be too much. You can manually resize it, undo it, so all those things. So that's the scrolling and just overall resizing. Other things you can do here is you could drag things up and you can group by things and you can see how many messages you have or how many occurrences of that field you have on your account. You can expand, so you have all these things. And if you right click, there are a bunch of other things like column choosers, so you can hide some of the columns, or you wouldn't be hiding these columns, but maybe there is something you have that's not important, like the importance column. They don't do anything, so you could get rid of them, and you'll be able to clean up your grid so you can better concentrate on your data. A lot of these things, they come built in with the control I purchased, so I didn't even program most of these. This is kind of how the control or the grid came with. So these are all built-in functions. All right. As far as the rest of the user's interface, we still have the import option where all the import things are. Now, instead of the bar, the big section we had on the bottom as in version 4, the export options are here, and I just needed more space, more controls, more options. Like if we to click on RSMF here, there is support for RSMF 2.0, there is a support for external attachments, all kinds of crazy stuff going on, and I just needed more screen space. So each export control goes on its separate screen, and it has its own controls that are associated with it, so it makes it much more clear. Our filtering, sorting, it's still here. You can sort by more columns if you need to. Filtering has an additional criteria for date filters, so we can have filter, date filter, sort, and then the recent, that will save all these like a saved search style. It'll keep the last 20 searches you have. We can add fields, we can mass update and tag fields. So if you create a field called found, and maybe we can make it like a boolean, which Also note we can create fields of different types. We're going to mass update, and we're going to update Y in a field called found and say update, and bam, everything is tagged. Clear the filter, and you can see how we had tagged documents, and then we can use those as a criteria for our export. So if we go to well, let's move it over here so you could see. If we to find all the checked items, we see we have 23, and when we go to export, we have our 23 records. So that's some of the ways is how you can search and tag and then only export those records. Or if you need to, you can export them to a brand new DAT file. Or you can create a DAT file with attachments, so you can copy attachments to a new folder structure if you need to export subset of data. All right, back to tools. Tools have been reorganized a little bit. We have conversation tools, we have date time tools, and then everything else was just thrown in here. Nothing terribly exciting here, but it's just been a little bit reorganized. There are tabs on top, so cloud tools made it to their own tab. We got some options for presets, license and activation in here, and this is something I'm currently working on, and this is more options to narrow down the documents you're looking for. We have indexed search, where you'll be able to build a full text index like a DT search. It's not going to be DT search, it'll be a Lucene because that's open source and all that stuff. DT search you have to pay for. And you'll be able to run like a keyword searches on your documents, and you can bring back an entire conversation that has a hit and only convert those to RSMF. Looks really cool. It works, just needs more testing. And this will give you the timeline of the messages, how many messages were sent per day. It'll graph it out for you, and you'll be able to drag and drop bars from both sides to narrow down your collection down once again. We'll cover that on separate videos. So that's my version 5, new user interface, faster grid, more data you can load into it, super responsive. I love it. I gauge some of these things based on whether So that's general overview of the new user interface in version 5. There's way more to talk about, and we'll cover that in separate video updates. But for now, this is it. Please download a copy, give it a try, let me know what you think. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.